Internet. I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake, real mustache.
And this is Popular Culture, and I guess we're going to be talking about Warner Brothers' most recent release.
Justice League.
Yay.
Okay,
and I swear I didn't wear this on purpose for this review. I did not. It's not.
Mine's just, we're just children. So, I will say, before anything else is said, that I went into this with the absolute, I was ready to hate this so much. Like, just straight up hate everything there was that happened on screen. And I was, like, taking mental notes about the jokes I was gonna tell. And I came out, it was better than Batman v Superman, but it was better than, like, Thor 2, but it was still not great, and it wasn't what I wanted out of Justice League. But at the same time, it's just, like, it was jarring. Like, from the first scene, and I think you agree, it was jarring from where we were to where they clearly wanna be.
Every single one of these movies, it feels like
a new place.
Scramble.
Yeah, it feels like a brand new team altogether, right?
Because...
And granted, Joss Whedon did do reshoots, but I don't think it was a Joss Whedon issue. I don't think so.
The very first scene in the movie is a video recording of Superman pre his death in Batman v Superman.
And it was a reshoot. But I didn't, by the way, without the stills, I didn't notice the bad mustache makeup. I tried, like I was looking for it in it, and I was like, that's fine. Because it was grainy phone.
I could tell.
But if no one pointed it out, would you notice? I don't think so.
Probably not, but I get it.
Yeah.
The first scene is a video recording of Superman before he had died. The thing is, the characterization of this Superman is an upbeat, bright, smiling. He's being Superman.
Yeah.
The problem is, this isn't how Superman had been characterized previously in the DCEU. And to me, walking into that movie, by the way, this is the last DC movie I'm paying for until, like, it's unless, like, total change of what they're doing. Because it just feels insulting to the audience. You're going into a movie to see it based on the other movies, even though the other movies were probably shitty, and they're saying, yeah, forget all those, though. We're gonna get it right this time, guys.
Do you know what it is? It feels like Zack Snyder wanted Superman to be a little bit grittier when he made Man of Steel. I think we all agree with that. That's a clear thing. He was coming off the heels of stuff like Dark Knight, and he was like, oh, so the realistic slant, a little bit more mature can work. And I think for a first Superman, I hate all the Superman films. I don't care what you say about Christopher Reeve. He's a good Superman, like, as far as idealistically. The movies are boring and kind of, they're corny as shit, and I don't like them. And you can like them, that's fine, but they're not good films, I wouldn't say. And Superman Returns isn't a good film, that's for sure.
That's a different thing for another day.
Sure, but I think Man of Steel was meh. It was a meh Superman movie. It didn't make me hate anything until you build on that character, and it just kind of gets worse, specifically Batman v Superman. Then you move into Batman v Superman, and then you have Suicide Squad, and it's just like, they keep trying to, like, there was a couple jokes in Batman v Superman, and it didn't make sense, really. And then there's Suicide Squad, which is clearly trying to be like a Guardians of the Galaxy sort of romp through, and even the director said, yeah, the Joker should have been the villain instead of whatever the fuck that villain was.
Enchantress?
Sure, but was it? I have no idea. Do you really know that? To be sure? Who knows? No one knows.
Enchantress?
No, that's up for debate. I think the real enemy was Will Smith, but just being Will Smith on screen. And then, of course, Margot Robbie cosplay goes up. But so you get your money through, more FYE shit. But then you get this, and if they would have started with this formula, I think it would have been an okay movie. But it's so jarring to be like, here's where we're at. I don't think any of us would have, like, liked it. I don't think anyone's going, like, yeah, fucking this is the best hero movie I've ever seen. But I think if they would have started with this sort of attitude they're going with, where jokes are a thing, because now Batman's funny, which would be fine if Batman had always been funny for the last 5 years. You know what I mean? It's just not the case. It's super weird.
I don't know. I feel like collectively, and by the way, this showed in the numbers the weekend after, by the way, had a huge drop. I mean, this movie is, for what it should be,
I hope it bombs.
It's bombing for them.
By the way, I really liked Ezra Miller, for the record.
Okay. fine. I think he's fine playing the version of Flash they're playing, but I mean, everyone says this. He's not playing Barry Allen. He's playing the next Flash, Wally West. Fine, whatever. I don't care. It's a different version of the character.
I don't
whatever.
care either. I mean, I think the Flash TV show is trash. So
I like this version of Bruce Wayne, but again, like you said, it's
they changed it to where it makes Batman v Superman worse. I will say.
And again with the weird retcons, Superman was a symbol of hope.
When?
What? I mean, they had a statue, but the entire last movie was based around the fact there were Senate hearings and like no one trusted him, and they all thought he might have murdered a bunch of people.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. Now, again, in a vacuum, if you take all the other movies out,
but you can't.
I know you can't but
do that.
You could feasibly start this movie. You could start this franchise at this movie, and it wouldn't matter because you already know the intros to every other character that's in there. Batman and Wonder Woman are doing a thing. Okay, I'm in. Fuck it, let's go. And it would have been okay. I think a big problem was Steppenwolf, who is the main. He's the villain leading into Darkseid, but
the funny thing is they didn't tie into Darkseid as much as I thought they were gonna.
They mentioned Darkseid.
I know they mention it, but they didn't like build it up as much as I thought they were gonna, which I think was in response to a lot of the Batman v Superman criticism of you're trying to cram too much into the movie. But in this case, he's
the lieutenant of Darkseid,
so you have to kind of explain that.
Every time Steppenwolf goes up, I was hoping for a scene with him in Darkseid.
Sure,
and that would have made the movie a lot better. Even though, again, for some reason, Warner Brothers can't afford effects people. Like, I just came out of Thor Ragnarok thinking, you know what, most of that looked pretty cool. I think it was over CG'd, but still, I don't think, like, Taika Waititi's character, the rock guy, looked fine. I felt like he was actually in the scenes, he was interacting. Steppenwolf, I never felt like was a thing, and we'll talk about this in the Avengers trailer that we're talking about. Because Thanos is even a little bit better, and I still think he's out of place.
And that's not even the final version of Thanos either. It's a trailer that comes out in May. They're going to be working on the CG. The trailer version of Thanos, still like at least
looks a lot better.
6 months out, looks better than the final version of Steppenwolf and a lot of the effects in Batman.
By the way, and I know he's a character. His name's Steppenwolf. I only thought of the band. I couldn't get over it. But that aside, some of the fights were a little fun, but Aquaman was like they were clearly trying to have a guy that knew he was cool be cool, but he was only cool when he wasn't trying to be cool, in my opinion. When he was doing like Aquaman things, like, his powers are fun to watch, but when he talks, it's like, you're not a dude, bro. You're Jason Momoa. You're supposed to be fun and sort of hot.
The one line from him I liked was, and this again, it doesn't work, I don't think, in the scene and in the context of the film, but sort of divorced from everything else. If you could somehow take this joke and put it in a better script, when he just shows up and he sees Batman in Batman.
And he goes, like a bat.
And he goes, dressed like a bat. I dig it. Like, that's
cool.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. And also, by the way, I will say they did the problem that they had in Batman v Superman when they wanted to get to Act 2, but they had to round out Act 1 to get you the bridge. So they just go, boop, 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 boop. Okay, Aquaman went down into Atlantis and got his armor, but that was off screen. Now we're gonna go do something with Barry. Hey, now the way Cyborg is over here. He has a thing going on with his dad. His dad's hostage. Did we ever get his dad back? I don't remember. Are we doing other things? Okay, now, Blue. And then also, by the way, Alfred's gonna make several Bruce's single jokes.
Yeah, oh my god, is that the only joke they know about Bruce Wayne and Alfred?
It was charming in the first one. I liked Alfred in the first one. First one. Batman v Superman. Could go without Jeremy Irons in this movie. Absolutely.
They kept writing the same jokes. Like, we get it. But they have a relationship deeper than that.
Sure. And by the way, the only jokes that really landed for me, I think the Momoa joke that you said was actually pretty well delivered. Barry Allen is the only one that I think ought to be funny all the time, and I think the rest of them should be like, specifically Batman should be like, take this seriously, but he's cracking jokes a lot.
Yeah.
And that's never been Batman. Batman's the one that has contingencies for all the Justice League members in case they go bad because he's so paranoid, because he's so dark, because he always takes the negative out of life. That's Batman. Make Batman the straight guy in that bit.
Bruce does dry humor in that.
Yeah.
There's a very iconic scene actually from the team up from the first time Superman and Batman teamed up in the animated series. World's Finest, they did a special TV movie or whatever,
sure,
where Superman says to Batman, they're having a genuine moment at the end. He's like, I couldn't have done it without you, Batman. And Batman just goes, I know.
Right.
Like,
that's the humor. Like it's almost, it's cocky. It's dark. It's supposed to be over the top Batman. Like anytime he says a joke, it's only funny because Batman doesn't think he's joking. Right? Like Batman
sometimes has snark.
Snark isn't a joke, though. Snark is, like, he does know that Superman couldn't have done that. You know what I mean? He's not joking about that. Like,
sure.
if Barry goes, yeah, I know. Barry thinks maybe Superman could have done it. I do like the Barry Allen Superman race thing at the end, but only because it was in a vacuum after the credits. If it was part of the body of the movie, I'd be like, fuck this. Like, in a vacuum, I'm like, okay, I could see that. That's fun. But why is Superman being fun suddenly? Is it because he died and came back? By the way, I'm actually fine with how they brought him back. I didn't think they should have brought him back so soon. I think it should have been at the next movie. But...
I think what was, because originally, remember, Justice League was supposed to be 2 parts. So I think what was supposed to happen was, at the end of this, they were going to bring Superman back. He was going to...
That would have been a cool movie.
I don't think he was going to turn good right away like he did, because Lois shows up.
No black suit Superman either.
Lois Lane shows up and she fixes everything.
You know what that was? That was,
a fuck you to the audience?
Sun's getting mighty low, big guy. Marvel superheroes bullshit.
Even Marvel made fun of that in Thor,
right.
for the record.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I feel like Superman was supposed to stay evil into part 2. Maybe halfway through part 2 he would have...
evil. Evil Superman is fun because the problem with Superman is his invulnerability. There's never stakes.
The scene that everyone keeps bringing up also is the... I gotta agree, it's a good concept, but again, I wish it was in a better movie. When the Flash starts running and then Superman starts
looking at him.
Because
that was
Superman,
cool.
Great idea.
I like that a lot, actually. But it's a wide shot of him being shirtless, which is kind of corny.
And on top of that, I don't give a shit about this version of Superman at all. I don't care about this. I don't care about this DC universe. I'm just gonna say it.
In a vacuum, I didn't enjoy this movie, but I also didn't hate it, and that's why, like, I think you can hear the difference between this review and the review of Batman v Superman, where we're like, fuck. And I came out of that pretty positive because I was like, I took nuggets out of it thinking, oh, Barry Allen's gonna be cool. That was a really great on-screen Batman. They kind of took all of the things I liked out of Batman and Superman and made them worse. Yeah, but they made the things I hated out of the rest of it and made it palatable.
There was no really good Batman fight either.
It was like a plain turkey sandwich. It was like, this'll do. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, I guess. Hey, I'm not going to remember that we had this lunch in a week, but...
I came into DCEU so primed and ready because I, already was a big fan of Marvel at that point and their movies. So I was like, oh, great, we're going to get more, like, superhero movies. And I'm totally fine with them being different and dark. I love the Dark Knight trilogy for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But... slowly, movie after movie, they have beat me into not giving them money anymore.
Yeah. Also, there was a scene in the trailers that we debated about a lot that didn't happen in the movie. And it was a blue light walking up to Alfred and he goes, they said you'd come. Was that supposed to be Nightwing and he got totally taken out? Or was that supposed to be Cyborg and that was just a deleted scene? Is that going to be in the director's cut? Who knows? If they would have added Nightwing to the end of this, I think that would have been a little bit better. Because, I don't know, like, give me something to look forward to next time. But really all I'm looking forward to next time is for them to stop.
Maybe, I don't know. And if they come out with a director's cut, I actually might want to do a full review on this, like, with clips and stuff.
Because it's almost a class in, like, what to and what not to do when you're trying to transition into being a different... Because it's a series, and you're trying to transition, they're clearly trying to take advice. They're like, that's part of the nugget that I took out of this. Clearly, Zack Snyder and the studio were like, we'll listen. We will listen to you, but they couldn't pull it off.
And they also kind of listened to the wrong parts and different, like...
Yeah, it's like... It's seriously, it's almost masterpiece in that way, where they couldn't pull off the things that are easy.
I'm telling you... 20, 30 years down the line, film schools will be looking at the DCEU. I don't know specifically exactly what lessons they'll be teaching with it, but they will expressly be talking about it and saying, here's why...
pacing, and character sort of continuity.
Yeah, character continuity is going to be a big one. Yeah. if it's like a business situation, if they're talking about the business of films, it's going to be a discussion on how much you can change, expectations for the audience.
Honestly, just reboot it. Don't sign Zack Snyder. I'm sorry for your loss, Zack, but you're not good at this. It's fine. Go do something else. Like, I liked 300, and I liked, was he part of the Frank Miller stuff? Was he part of Sin City and stuff like that? Was he the one that did that?
I know he did Watchmen. I don't know if he
Sure.
did.
I like Watchmen. I really like Watchmen, especially the director's cut. I like that movie a lot. I really like the graphic novel as well. I think it's one of the better superhero movies. Just pacing wise, I think it's well done. Although to be fair, he had. Well, I know, but it's like a book that he wanted to do a really good job on, and I think they did. But
I could theoretically take, Les Mis and turn it into like
but I like
an adaptation.
That's why I like that they didn't, because it needs to be like the way that is. It's so layered.
I feel like a good adaptation is judged based upon how well it transfers the same themes into a new medium.
I think the ending of the movie of Watchmen is better than the book. And I think a lot of people agree with me.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think it's a good adaptation. But he clearly can't do that without like 300 was a graphic novel. Watchmen's a graphic novel. He can't do it without the beginning, middle, and end already written for him, apparently.
No, he can't.
So just don't do it, Zach. I'm sorry. You're an interesting filmmaker. Sometimes I like the style. I like how stylistic the shots can get. Like there's really good shots. Like plain shots, if you were to watch cinematography. In Batman v Superman, in Man of Steel, I think has probably the best shots of all three of those films. But that's not what you build a movie on, right? It's not just some photo porn. It's actually like making a movie, and you can't do it. So just reboot the goddamn thing. Warner Brothers is never going to sell it, and I really hope they don't sell it to Disney.
Oh my god!
Because I don't want them to be in charge of all that shit. But
by the way, that Disney Fox deal is back on.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Anyway, reboot the franchise. Keep Batfleck. I really like what he did.
News is he was running for the door pre-Justice League, and with the numbers Justice League got, he's gonna try and get out of that contract. I guarantee it.
Probably. I mean, I don't blame him.
I don't.
He's really good at Bruce Wayne, but this movie just.
I think they fucked up from the beginning, making him old Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be. He shouldn't. Obviously, Ben Affleck cannot play.
I think 10 years in instead of 20 years in is kind of the sweet spot.
Seasoned Batman. He knows his entire rogues gallery. He knows how to take him on, but he's not like God Batman.
Because we've already done with the Dark Knight. We've done the introduce you to stuff. I mean, there's Batman Year One. We played the video games. Like we all get the Batman ethos. And
what I would do for Batman is, if I were introducing him into this larger universe, I'd have it be a seasoned Batman who feels like I'm on top of everything.
And then he gets taken out.
Batman, and then Superman shows up, and all of a sudden, all this alien, and all of a
sudden,
awesome. He realizes
he's small.
Yeah,
that's a really cool. And that's honestly, if you started with Batman and the end of the first Batman movie as the beginning of Man of Steel,
sure,
where Superman shows up, and you just see like he just did all this shit, and you can even have him sitting there talking with Robin, like, I think we're finally gonna, like, this is the year we clean it up. And then a fucking alien comes out of the skies and has a battle where he destroys Metropolis on accident. That's a really cool hook moving in to what eventually could be Batman v Superman after Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Right? And hopefully in Man of Steel you get the sense that Superman is a good person that's very idealistic. Batman shouldn't be killing people. He shouldn't have guns. I think if you set it up to maybe make it so that Batman thinks he has to up his,
and that's why he starts getting, again.
That's a good idea. And Batman killing people can be fun in that you root against Batman. That's fun.
I see the ideas in the DCU that could have worked, but they rushed it all, and here we have these scraps that are never going to be probably turned into competent.
So see it if you want. I can't recommend it unless you do this kind of thing. It's very good for review discussion.
It is, because I think it's interesting, because I honestly think that the DCEU in its current state is such a microcosm of the entire film industry right now and what they're doing.
The corporatization of it.
And the scrambling to try and get these shared universe franchises, because they feel if they don't, they're fucked and they can't get the next quarter, earnings up.
Like all one of them would have to do is watch something like this, not us, anyone, talking about these movies and actually listening, and being like...
See, I disagree with that, because I actively recognize that as a fanboy, my ideas, the things I think are cool, don't necessarily work on screen all the time.
I don't mean our pitches for scripts. I mean specifically what we don't like, not what we, because I mean what we don't like is the only thing that should matter to them, not our ideas for how to make these. Like, oh, I think Superman with an actual mustache the whole time would be fucking rad, and they should do that. Don't listen to that. Listen to what I didn't like about your movie. That's what they should be listening to. See, because I'm a consumer.
They try and do that, and then you get Suicide Squad re-edited to try and make it Guardians of the Galaxy.
But everyone hated Suicide Squad, and they didn't listen about that, and then they still made Justice League with the things we didn't like. So what I'm saying is they're clearly not listening. They're looking at focus groups of people that already like this shit, and it's just not... It's just not movies.
You said earlier you thought you could see them changing stuff, though.
No, I'm saying this is what they were changing. Like, this movie encapsulates them trying to change and not being able to do it. And I think one of the big problems is Zack Snyder just can't do a movie on his own. I think he needs...
Well, he didn't do this one on his own.
I know, I'm saying I think he needs, like, the actual beginning end like he did with those other adaptations of graphic novels. I think they need to... like, pay attention. Like, Marvel, like, they listened, and I think we're getting pretty common, like, quality out of them. Like, after Thor 2 specifically, like, they started hearing, like, oh, we like the more fun, but then they took it a little bit too far with Thor Ragnarok, although I did like that movie a lot. I think they're going to bring it back a little bit. At least we have Marvel to look forward to.
I'd say this. There was more emotional impact for me in the trailer for Infinity War than there was in the entire runtime of Justice League for me. And the only reason is because I care about the characters in Infinity War.
I also like the actors in Marvel. Like, I think the actors are genuinely good, and I think their press sort of package, whatever they teach the actors to go, like, when they do the press stuff, they do a really good job of being charismatic. They pair them up well. I think their personalities are all very intertwinable. And there's something about their presence as both people and on screen that I think just works. And they do a really good job of the marketing.
I actually feel really bad for the people who are in the DCU right now. Because Henry Cavill, I think when they let him play Happy Superman...
I liked parts of it.
He does a good Superman. He's a good Superman when they let him be. It's just it doesn't make sense in the context.
There are scenes in Justice League where near the end he's being like Superman.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Oh my god!
The scene where they're building?
Building, yes!
The building! That's so Superman!
That was a moment where I went, where was this?
Yeah!
5 movies ago, Barry Allen pushes a car, and he looks, and there's Superman with a whole building, and I'm like, I could see this on a fucking comic book page.
Yes!
Because that's in that moment...
that was Superman.
Whoever wrote that, whether it was Snyder or it was Whedon, that moment understood Superman, because in a world full of superheroes, Superman is the superhero to the superheroes.
You know what else? That final scene was actually the best Superman stuff, because he's with Cyborg, and Cyborg's like, okay, I'm going to pull these cues apart, which was fine. I think that looked good. And by the way, they explained why Cyborg looked so shitty, and he looked better at the end of the movie.
That's almost a fuck you to the audience,
it really is. But at least they're like, we understand... moving forward. But there was this cool scene where Superman's like, hey, is this gonna hurt? He's like, yeah, this is gonna hurt, but I think we can take it. He's like, alright, I thought so. And they kind of do this thing, and it was a very Superman where he's helping a teammate. That's a very Superman action. And then they both fall down, and they kind of laugh like they made it. That felt good. It felt like, we're super, this is the Justice League, fuck yeah. And so actually that crescendo of like the final scene felt pretty okay. And maybe that's why I walked out of that movie theater going, you know what? I didn't hate that. Because at the end, I feel like that's where we should have started.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly, if you take that last fight, even if it was Steppenwolf, and that's the beginning of the Justice League movie,
I feel like...
I'm okay with that.
You know what, though? I just think at this point I'm just exhausted.
Yeah,
because
same.
I've seen Batman v Superman 3 times now. I've seen Suicide Squad at least twice.
Oh, I've only seen it once.
I tried to give it a second chance because I think it's fair to give movies a second chance in a different context.
I will say the director's cut of Batman v Superman is a watchable film that's much better than theatrical.
The extended cut of Suicide Squad, not worth it. It's just... all these movies just to get to... that was fine. Like, it's exhausting to me. And I love movies and I love comic books. And holy shit, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
That took a lot out of me.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Just honestly, you gotta axe Snyder, man. Because I don't think they're gonna stop. I don't think...
At this point, I'm so curious what's gonna happen because they're in. Is it an in for a penny, in for a pound? Fuck it, we gotta move forward with this, or is it a?
I think it is.
Cut your losses.
They could have cut their losses after Batman v Superman.
They could have, but they were already filming Justice League.
You could just stop that and be like, you know what? Reboot it. We'll take some stuff from this, those same characters, but let's let everybody know new universe. You can even flashpoint that shit real quick. Oh, Barry Allen's here. He changed the future. Okay, good. Now we're in this.
At that point, though,
they already have Flashpoint for 2020.
I know they do. My thought is just, why at this point would I trust them?
Hey.
You fucked it up the first time. Why would I trust you the second time?
Hey, I don't know.
Immediately with the same people probably
By the way,
higher ups working on it.
Wonder Woman was a fine movie. I think that was a decent flick, about a 7.
Their best movie is Wonder Woman, and it's a good movie, but it's like...
Marvel is my bar for superhero movies.
Well, that's because they've been consistently coming out with entertaining movies for a decade.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And, like, Wonder Woman is above the bad ones, and I think this is above the worst ones.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it's above Wonder Woman, and I certainly don't think it's above the C-tier Marvel. I think there's 2 or 3 movies that are just, I don't like them from Marvel.
Yeah.
Hulk, Iron Man 2 I don't like, Thor 2 I don't like,
Sure.
Captain America, the first one, I don't really care for. And then everything else is better than Batman, or Justice League. And Wonder Woman is better than a lot of that stuff. So
yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, so it's, I mean...
I don't know. Say what you want about the Marvel movies. They're not... Other than the franchise formula, the business side, obviously that's all new and revolutionary and stuff. I mean, say what you will about Universal Monsters
I don't think they're cookie cutter either. I think they definitely have a formula that works.
But at the end, they're entertaining movies. When I pay a ticket for a Marvel movie, I know what I'm getting. I'm gonna enjoy it, probably have some laughs.
Well, I'm not there for a Daniel Day-Lewis tour de force. I'm there for a fun movie. It's a blockbuster.
DC, when I go and pay for a ticket for a DC movie, I don't even know what kind of movie I'm getting into. Am I gonna get a dark movie that they're trying to inject humor into? Am I gonna get just a do you bleed? You will. Am I gonna get
I liked that Superman made fun of him for that.
Yep.
By the way.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know. Wonder Woman was my, okay, one more movie. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. You're out. I am close to out.
I'm out.
I'm close to out. So I don't know what the next movie is going to be that comes out. Is it going to be the Batman? If Affleck even sticks around.
I would bet there's going to be lots of meetings at Warner Brothers over the following weeks where they're going to be deciding these things, because there's going to be some sort of restructuring. There's no way...
Zack has to be gone.
With the financial disappointment that is Justice League, with all the money they have thrown into building this franchise, Justice League was supposed to be their fucking Avengers. Justice League is not making money!
Justice League was their Ant-Man.
So, for reference... Thor 3 made more money than Justice League. And Thor 1 and 2 aren't even, like, popular as far as Marvel movies.
Ragnarok was a really good movie. Go check it out before it's out of theaters. But, yeah, so I mean, every time we try to stop saying this, we want to say more, but I think we should just stop because it just keeps being disappointing. It's just... So, yeah, I guess tell us how you thought about the movie.
And I swear, it's not a Marvel fanboy thing. I'll criticize
really
Marvel's shit.
I like Dark Knight better than I like maybe any Marvel movie.
Dark Knight's like a good movie on its own.
I know, but that's what I mean. Like that's my goal for all superhero movies is like capture what Dark Knight did in your own way and make it a good film outside of a superhero genre.
I think only one Marvel movie has ever done that.
Civil War?
No. Surprisingly, I think it's Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me explain why.
I agree.
Not in like it's a serious... It's...
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is an emotional movie.
Like, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, if you took those out of the Marvel Universe, those are excellent space...
Yeah, they're just
fun fantasy movies on their own. If those were separate and those were just their own thing... I think people would pay more attention to how much people like those movies, because, like...
Well, I don't think they're hurting for any attention, but yeah, I agree with you as far as how the Dark Knight was always like apart from itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those two are really good. And
plus, James Gunn has just done an excellent job on those.
Yeah. So, I'd still put those under Dark Knight, but just barely. I totally get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, sorry that you had to be disappointed like us, Adam.
I don't know. I don't know. Are we gonna get? I mean.
I'm really interested to see what happens next. if they implode, I'll be really happy because that means Batman's coming back some other way and we can take another shot. And eventually they gotta hit, right? You can't just always fuck up Batman. He's too easy to get right. All you gotta do is start with Batman, and then everything after that is fine. Although, as far as Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, I think she does a good job. So I'm sorry that we would lose what seems to be a good Flash, what seems to be a good visually Aquaman. I'd be interested to see what an Aquaman movie would be. I think that's one of the best on-screen Batmans as far as when action scenes happen, like hand-to-hand combat Batman. I think he's one of the best. I think, again, visually, Henry Cavill's a really good Superman, but not words. not you know, none of the feeling of Superman's in there, except for this last scene in this movie. And Gal Gadot, I mean, I think she just does a good job. So, Cyborg, I could go on without.
Yeah, Cyborg was my least
kind of
favorite.
pointless.
Just kind of. Yeah.
So,
I guess that's it.
Yep, that's it.
So until next time, I'm Hugo.
I'm Jake.
Why Warner Brothers?
Why?
You literally own the first superhero.
You could just have Batman in the Batsuit walk around town as a mockumentary, and I would like it.